Naomi Osaka makes us ask the question, is mental health important when it comes to our players? All that coming up in just a second. Okay.
Yep.
Let's wrap it up. Put a ball on it.
So we're going to go in a direction we typically don't go in at all.
I don't like going this direction, mainly because I don't feel like I am the best oriator of this type of conversation. But
Fair.
This is your profession, your 9 to 5. So I do think this is actually a really good topic to go into.
Well, I was going to say tennis. We don't really ever go in the direction of tennis.
Oh, yeah.
But a tennis...
That's good.
Everything you said was still true. But tennis... leading us into a discussion of other things that really are a part of all sports is what has happened. It's been a huge story. So Naomi Osaka, who I think is a number 2 ranked player in tennis, but really she's number 1. I mean, if you follow anything about tennis, you know that she's number 1. Came out before the French Open, one of the 4 majors of tennis, and essentially said that she would not be speaking to the media post-match because of how in the past it has affected her mental health, has contributed to her doubting herself, and has made it difficult for her to be in the right psychological space, dealing with the anxiety. It's kept her out of the right emotional and psychological space that she wants to be in order to compete against the greatest in the world in her sport. So she said she wasn't going to speak to the media. True to form, after she won her first round match, she spoke to she did an interview on the court, but she did not make her media appearance after that, where they normally sit down in front of all the reporters and answer questions. So she was fined, I believe, $15,000 by the French Open, and they also threatened her, and all 4 majors were in agreement with this. They all talked. They were in agreement that beyond that, if she did it again, she would suffer tougher sanctions, including potentially being disqualified from that particular major if she continued to do this after her matches. So a day after that, Naomi Osaka, today as we record the show, she announced that she is going to withdraw from the French Open and will no longer compete in order to take some time to herself, as well as not wanting to be a distraction to the tournament, as well as wanting to continue discussions on how to approach or how to address just this whole situation with the media post-match. So she's going to be talking about this with other officials who are a part of the Tennis Association, as well as the other majors that we have coming up. So with all that, and with the fact that in most major sports, especially major American sports, players are, regardless of gender, WNBA, whoever it is, they essentially have obligations to speak to the media at certain times, particularly after the game or the match has ended.
Right.
So with all this that's happened, do you think players should be obligated to speak to the media after the game, or do you think it should be optional after that?
So this one's tough for me, and this is why the media helps shape the stories that we that gives us the purpose of consuming some of these sports. Like, I know that we all consume sports because we just enjoy sports in general. Mm-hmm. We all get into it, and that's a lot of our pastime, and it helps us stop thinking about the real world and things that's going on today.
Mm-hmm.
But
right.
But we do live in a actual reality, and so do these players. And so things in reality do affect them the same way they do affect us. And so that's that one piece that I've mentioned in numerous times in past, that they're human just like we are.
Right.
So they have the same emotions we have. A lot of them have the same anxieties. A lot of them are just really good at their profession, but really bad at public speaking, or even terrified of it. She mentioned it. She hates public speaking. She's terrified, and she feels like she's terrible at it, even though I think she's amazing at it. And it's mainly because that's not the thing she's great at. She's great at playing tennis.
Right.
So she's not going to always be a great interview. She's not going to be a great responder. She does speak well about the things that she's passionate about, but this is not her. That's not her strength. And so I understand her 100% not wanting to really talk to the media. And I do believe that to an extent, they should make it an optional thing for players. I feel like post-game, we definitely want those reactions because we want that raw emotion and stuff. But then we criticize players when we get those raw emotions, like the Richard Sherman situation after the Super Bowl. You can't do that to a guy post-game and ask the question of, oh man, was he wrong for saying that? You wanted the raw emotion. He just won a Super Bowl. Give him that's the raw emotion that you want. And so if you want those raw emotions, like what you get from Russ, like what you get from KD today, because KD's really good at social media, even though he has multiple burners, he does a really good job of speaking about this stuff. Even Kyrie, as much as his theatrics may wear you out, they wear me out. I appreciate them as part of the game because he gives us stories to talk about and things to ask questions about and wondering how the human element plays in things. So not to go too long-winded on this, but I do believe that there should be there should be a better job of understanding what type of players we're dealing with, because you do have players that are really good at speaking in public and have no problem with doing it. But then you have those athletes like Naomi who needs a little bit of space sometimes in order to get themselves right before they can go out and talk.
I think we're going to learn a lot about tennis and their relationship with the media and just to what degree they feel like, in a sense, they rule their players, for lack of a better phrase. I think they have a lot of options as to what they can do with this particular situation. Now, to answer my own question, I agree. I think it should be optional. I think that they should give players options as far as what type of media environment they want to be a part of. So maybe you have a certain player, you give them the option of, okay, you can go and face the full room of reporters.
Yep.
Or you can maybe be in a room with 5 to 10 or a room with just 1 or 2. Either way, they still fulfill their media obligation. You get the stories that you need in order to create the theatrics and the, the deepened analysis, which is a part of the entire sports experience.
Right.
And then everybody is happy. The obligation is fulfilled, etc. So I think that there are ways around that. I hope that tennis does not try to bully her into doing something that she does not want to do, and something that, in a sense, as she said, affects her play on the court. Because now look at it. Now, the number one player in your sport has withdrawn from a major tournament, right? And she's one of the main people. That's like, I won't say it's like Tiger Woods necessarily. She's not at that level, but it's almost like the number one player like Tiger Woods has been in, he's the number one draw in whatever tournament he's in, decides not to be in that tournament. That hurts your tournament. So you need to take this serious. Again, I hope that they handle this the correct way, because she's not going to back down from this. That's not her personality. And I've, read some things. I follow her on Twitter and stuff. She's really interesting. She has very strong opinions, and this shows the degree to which how she's willing to back up what she believes in. Now, jokingly, what I thought to myself is that one thing that Naomi could do if she does in the future choose to answer questions post-match with a full room of media, and they ask her a question because what was specific about the French Open is that she got tired of reporters bringing up how she's underperformed on clay, which is what the surface that they play on in the French Open.
Right.
Is she could have 4 people from her team either bring in the actual plaques or replicas of the plaques from the 4 majors that she has won. Just bring them in, stand on the wall, and then anytime she gets a question that causes her to want to doubt herself, look to the left, see those majors that you won before against the best in the world, and then remind yourself that you're still that girl who can do that.
I can see that.
So jokingly, I mean that I don't think she would ever do that, but that's something that she could do in order to remind herself of how great she is. But I think that they should give them options, and I think that this could ignite changes in the media's relationship with the actual players across sports, because I see things media wise that I don't like in basically every major American sport. I think for the most part, most of these reporters are good, well-intentioned, and they do their job. But I think you do have a few who intentionally will want to ask questions to get that type of negative reaction out of a player, and then they become the star. Now people know my name because I asked that question to that star.
I'm that guy.
Right.
But and this section goes out to the fans as we wrap things up. Fans and fanatics need you to understand something about this. Just because they make a lot of money and just because they're now celebrities because of their performances in whatever arena, field, whatever that they do, this is not something that they ask for. What they ask to do is to play this sport professionally and be great at it. That's the only thing they asked for. They didn't ask for all the media stuff that comes with it. They didn't ask for all the extra. All the extra is for everybody to make money. It's not necessarily for the players to make money. It's for everybody else to make money.
Right.
Keep that in mind. So because of that, is being respectful to their wishes. And like you said, I really do hope tennis takes her seriously and is respectful to her, because that's the one thing. She pointed out that her problem with a lot of this was with mainly the French Open. That's where the issues lie. That's what bothered her. And she's battling with depression and a lot of depression and social anxiety that she deals with. A lot of that stuff comes from quickly becoming famous. Go become quickly famous, and then everybody's in your businesses. Everybody's talking about you, and everybody's saying things. It's a lot harder to move away from when you see 15 positive comments about you, and then you got one person that takes digs at you about your look, the way you say things, the way you pronounce things, the way your nose looks, the way your lips are, the way your teeth might be crooked, the way your ear may be slanted or something. Let one person say something negative about you, and it will throw off everything about you.
Right.
Throw off everything when it comes to you. And a lot of people don't understand that that's the stuff that they deal with digs nonstop, irregardless of what they say or do. She's one of those that don't even say that much, except for when she really needs to. But most of the time, she didn't really say anything, and she still gets it. So my point behind all of this is I do hope that, like you said, tennis takes it seriously. I hope that she does what she needs to do, take care of herself as well, because I like watching her at her peak. And the only way a player's going to get to their peak is if they are in their happiness, and we're not doing things to ruin that from them. So,
right.